Well, ladies and gentlemen, Doctor Who is not something we spoke about in a little while now because honestly, I kind of moved away from the whole story about Doctor Who. I really don't give a crap about what's going on with Doctor Who. Honestly, if they want to ruin their franchise further, there's more power to them, right? Doctor Who fans, whoever's sticking around is sticking around for whatever reason they might have, and that's their own decision. For me, Doctor Who really is just a show that's basically going down the rabbit hole of identity politics. Is very clear. And we're talking about the modern idea of identity politics. We're not talking about social justice from back in the day. Those two are not the same. They are very, very different. But the reason why we're talking about Doctor Who today is because apparently both the actress Millie Gibson and Ncuti Gatwa, and yes, they're both actresses if you want to be technical, Ncuti Gatwa and both Millie have hinted that their Doctor Who run is not going to last more than a second season. So let's get into this article, guys, from Fandom Pulse. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into the YouTube algorithm. And don't forget, guys, please go subscribe to my manga channel. The links are in the description box below in my link tree. I would love to see you there. It says the future of Doctor Who appears to be hanging in the balance as doubts emerge over whether or not the return of the key cast members Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson are for a third season. While still in the midst of filming the second series set to air in 2025, recent interviews with the actors have fueled speculation about the show's poor ratings, canceling the show early, as most incarnations of Doctor in the modern era last at least 3 seasons. This uncertainty, coupled with the fan dissatisfaction over perceived issues like bad writing and identity politics, has cast a shadow over the show's prospect. Now, I don't know if this is going to be true or not. Okay, this is a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt. But we need to talk about this because it is interesting that they are kind of hinting at the fact that they're not going to last past the second season. Now, I wouldn't be surprised given the fact of the viewership being so terrible right out the gate, and this is usually not the case when it comes to something being premiered like a brand new Doctor. Considering the viewership is really bad already, you got to imagine as the show goes on and the season actually plays out, chances are the viewership is not going to be that high, right? It might have a massive influx for the first episode, but then it's going to taper off heavily all the way until the very end, and not many people are going to finish it. So it just goes to show that this is leading down the rabbit hole again of identity politics, and it's going to affect them heavily. I can't wait to see what the viewership numbers are. I'm actually very curious. If the show ends up being successful, more power to them. I'm always okay with admitting I'm wrong. You know, I was wrong about Barbie. I admitted that. I was wrong about some other movies. I admitted that. But I'm right pretty damn often, and you got to give me that at least. But still, it's pretty damn hilarious. It says Millie Gibson's recent interview with Fabric magazine hinted at potential departures as she discussed her plans for 2024 and expressed interest in pursuing new challenging roles. I think now that the strike's over, I'll probably be auditioning again for parts and seeing what's out there, Millie Gibson said. Whoa, there you go. Ncuti Gatwa's comments in a Rolling Stone UK interview and later in a Radio Times conversation also failed to provide a clear picture of his post-Doctor Who plans. Theater kept me warm and it held me all night, even if I was broke, but I'm planning on getting back to it after I finish season 2 of Doctor Who, Ncuti Gatwa said. Now, that's pretty telling in my opinion. If he's saying that he's going to go back to theater after season 2 of Doctor Who, that is a pretty telling point that he might not be returning for a season 3. It doesn't mean that he might not return forever. He might do, like cameos, or he might show up later down the line when a new Doctor's introduced, but that would be very curious, And listen, theater takes a lot of time. Theater takes a lot of effort. Obviously, it's not an easy thing to do. If he wants to go back to theater, he's probably using Doctor Who to kind of shoehorn himself back into the spotlight. But I wouldn't be surprised if he gives it all up. I really wouldn't be. I wouldn't be surprised if they're planning to not go very far with this current iteration of Doctor Who. You could blame it on anything you want. You could blame it on identity politics. You could blame it on left-wing ideology. You could blame it on pandering, social justice, whatever the case may be. But the fact of the matter is, these shows do get canceled, and they get canceled very often, and everybody likes to turn a blind eye and pretend as if the elephant's not in the room, but it is. After a certain point, you could blame everything else around you, but you kind of have to start blaming the elephant in the room, and that's basically what's happening with shows like this version of Doctor Who. It says a potential exit of Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson after just 2 series would mark a departure from the established pattern of modern era Doctor actors completing at least 3 series. Doctor Who's recent troubles seem to have intensified with with the 60th anniversary special leading to a significant drop in ratings. The introduction of a new character, a trans man pretending to be a woman, and a subsequent handling of this storyline received criticism from fans. Russell T Davies, the showrunner, acknowledged that the new season would upset fans, intentionally further fueling dissatisfaction. It's amazing that people who are in these positions of making TV shows want to piss off the people that they know are going to watch the show. I don't understand that. Why would you want to piss off people who want to watch your show or who have watched your show previously? Like, why would that be your intent? Why would you go into all of this creative process of putting a TV show together, writing it, acting it, directing it, producing it, all this stuff, and you're just doing it just to piss people off? It doesn't make any sense. It's like the person who was in charge of She-Hulk. I forgot her fucking name already because she's so forgettable. But still, like, why would you want to do that? That's such a weird goal to have, don't you think? It's such a weird idea to have in your mind. Hey, I want to make a TV show, and by the way, I want to piss off everybody who watches it. I just want to piss off everybody. That way, nobody watches it, and I'm happy. It just doesn't make any sense. You got to be a real miserable fuck in order to want to do that. It says A Church on Ruby Road, featuring Ncuti Gatwa's debut as the Doctor, marked the lowest rated premiere for a new Doctor since the 1960s. Fans have voiced concerns about the show's direction, citing what they perceive as poor writing choices and forced political agenda. Let me cut you off real quick. It's not what they perceive to be forced political agenda. They literally said they're going to make this show into a left-wing bubble, okay? It's going to be left-wing ideology safe haven. So they came out and they admitted it's filled with identity politics. It's filled with a political agenda. And they came out and said that. So there's no perception. There's no perceiving it to be so. No. It is that. It is so. That is what it is. The introduction of controversial elements, described by Billy Gibson as the good sort of controversy, suggests a deliberate shift towards more politically charged narrative, alienating some longtime fans. Ncuti Gatwa's debut as a Doctor in the Church on Ruby Road Christmas special garnered the lowest rated premiere for a new Doctor in a modern era. The decline in ratings is seen as a troubling sign for the show's future, especially considering the historical success of Doctor Who under previous lead actors like David Tennant. The show's recent trajectory, marked by a shift towards identity politics and controversial storytelling choices, seem to have contributed to a decline in viewership. And I wouldn't be surprised, okay? There was over 100 some odd complaints that were made to the BBC. People obviously are not into this stuff. There are some people that are, and a lot of people are not. And the problem is, when you make storylines like this, when you make your show based on identity politics, you inherently are going to ignore potentially 50% of your customers. That is a risk that you're going to take right off the bat before the show even comes out. You mention this stuff and you immediately alienate half of the people you could have sold the show to. And again, this brings me back to my thing where, why is this a strategy? Like, I don't understand. Why is this a strategy for people making TV shows right now? Where they want to piss off the fans. They want to piss off the people who they're trying to sell the show to. It doesn't make any sense. Like, did you take economics class? Like, do you know how this stuff works? Supply and demand and all this stuff? Like, you got to have some questions. I need answers, man. The pre-launch promotion for the 15th Doctor, played by Ncuti Gatwa, faced criticism for what fans perceived as an excessive focus on identity politics. Gatwa's accusations of racism, directed at fans who might dislike his iteration of Doctor Who, and his acknowledgement of pushing leftist agendas, have further fueled concerns. Fans expressed worries that the show is prioritizing political messaging over producing content that resonates with a broad audience. Again, I want to be very clear. I don't know why you guys are trying to sit there and pretend as if this is all perception, if you're perceiving this to be true, when it literally is true. These guys have told you their entire strategy up front. They told you what they were going to do. So let's stop pretending as if this is not going to be the case. There is no perception. This is the truth. Doctor Who is a left-wing, ideologically based TV show now with the introduction of Ncuti Gatwa. You can't say it's based on his race. You can't say it has anything to do with his skin color, because the actor himself and the director themselves came out and said so. Had they never said anything, the other side might have an argument and say, oh, you're just saying that because he's black. Well, guess what? The black man said it himself. So now what are you going to do? So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.